Friends,
Okay.
we are beginning. I don't know where my computer's to, so maybe they gave up on me. Okay. Why did this not go through? I don't know why it didn't go through. That's why they're not on. I don't know why it's not going through my. Text me individually.
Wednesday, Thursday, after 5.
Okay, I sent them all text to the class because I could not get through the WhatsApp for some reason. Okay, we continue and we say we're learning the Seder Birchos HaNehenin, and we had started chapter 6. So learn. We were learning that fruit, and we discussed 7. We discussed the fact that the correct bracha on fruits that are small and not yet AIDS, even though not yet correct, unless there's some problem, even if you look like they're too bitter to eat, if you sweeten them up, go by adding other ingredients, then they're still shallow. They're not a fit. We said edible seeds are eights. Edible peels are shahakal. Their eights are adama. Yeah, it's about yeah. Welcome. Fruit are quality, poor. Say like
Hello? Hello? Hello, Rabbi? Hello?
Can't be that the fruits come directly out of the.
Hello?
I mean, can you hear me?
It's been breaking, I've been having trouble logging in.
Right
Something's
now,
wrong.
I basically don't have it on my computer because I forgot it. And I forgot it in the car, which drove off. So here I am, and I'm using a hotspot, which is a bad connection. So I'm sorry about that.
Okay, well, I'm trying to make do. Where are we starting?
We're starting from 9 in the altar. I don't remember the last time or not, actually.
Hang on.
But that's where we're starting from. I was just saying that in order for it to be ha'etz, it has to grow from a branch that grows off of a trunk. Raf Shenikar in the middle of Zion, Raf Shenikar in the Birchos, very Atzi B'Sam, Malreich, Parakid Aleph, Shenikar in the Kile Haker. Such a tree, even though it's called ha'etz as far as Atzi B'Sam, it's called ha'etz as far as Kilayim, but it's not called ha'etz as far as pre-ha'etz. Pre-ha'etz, it has to be more important. It has to have a trunk and branches. If you don't want to mute yourself, please. Nishar Kayim Kol HaChayref. Even if it does not die off at all in winter, but the entire tree is there, and grows from the same trunk in the second year. Like the types of berries that are called mullinus in our countries, which apparently is a raspberry. So, in the raspberries that I looked at online, compared to the other bushes that grow berries, I was able to see a real difference between the two. Why is a raspberry considered that it grows directly on the trunk, and the other berries are considered to have a trunk and branches? A branch, by the way, a trunk, by the way, does not have to be hard. You don't have to need an axe to chop it off, because, for example, grapes are eights, even though they grow on a vine. Problem. It doesn't have to be a hard trunk. It has to be a trunk and leaves. So apparently the other bushes have what's called a trunk, what's called not leaves, branches. But the raspberries do not. It's interesting because the Taz says that raspberries are Adama because the trunk dies in the sun, in the summer, in the winter, sorry. And the Adam saw that the Taz never saw raspberries because he says that the trunk does not drop. die in the summer. So it seems like a machas and matzias, unless they're actually talking about berries. In any case, Al-Turba says it is hadama for a different reason. Not because it dies in the summer, but because in the winter, sorry, but because it does not have a separate branch and trunk. But types that grow on regular trees, you need to say that have a proper trunk anyway. See, this is all, he started off Zion to talk about mini of Merakin, Shalom appears Yitzin Meikar Atzmai. If it's soft trees. Soft trees which have no separate trunk and branch are not nice because they're not important. But if it's a proper tree, if they're important fruit, like for example, the blackberries, why not? The proper tree. So I don't really know exactly the difference between all these berries, but the bottom line is that according to the Rebbe, you say Hadam and raspberries. Now you check them, it's a different story, it's very hard to check. But raspberries are Hadama because they're not a separate branch and tree. Raspberries are Hadama because they do not have a branch that lasts in the winter. The roots, but not the branch and the trunk. Mulberries, the Mishnah Berurah says that the minhag ha'olam is to say Adama on them because they grow very close to the ground. Now, the truth is that there are mulberries that actually grow on a tree, mulberry tree. So it depends on the berry. But berries that grow very close to the ground within 3 tachim, some say that those fruit are not considered important. Not important because they grow so close to the ground. Cranberries are like that. They grow on vines, grow close to the ground. According to that, it would be Adam as well. All right, other berries, blueberries, blackberries are heights.
It's higher.
Because it's a little bit higher, yeah. Higher. Okay, moving right along.
Rabbi, there's someone on the chat that's asking for the link.
Can't hear you because I turned the volume lower. Go ahead. Sorry. One more time. What?
There was someone on the chat asking for the link.
Who's that?
I think it's Sarah.
No, but for some reason,
Come in, Dan.
I don't know.
It's not. No, what's not working? Can you put it on the chat there, please?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
My wife,
Yeah,
it's not so clear.
I grew up with
I know because I don't have an antenna. I'm using a hotspot instead. I'm just doing the best I can.
I grew up with a two-team in the tree, big tree.
I'm sorry.
It was a two-team.
I'll record it as well.
It was a tree for two-team.
Yep. Yep.
So it's
Yeah. Is it good? Is it good?
you know,
Did he come in the gate?
No, yes, I took his leash off.
Maybe he's hiding under
Unless
the.
he got out when Susan opened the gate, but I was standing with him.
Okay. You got the roll. Sorry. Noise. Okay. The dog. Okay. I'm going to turn the volume back up. Order. Okay. So, back chat. Apologize for this whole כן, נכון. זה לא קטע, אבל יש די את זה. והענבים מנסים לעשות את זה בשבת.
זה מיוחד לגט.
ענבים בגלל שזה דאורייתא. כן. Now, I have on Dani, being a little bit of mehem, whether on what is absorbed or what that Rosh Hashanah, there's anything that comes out of foods is not called a pre. Besides what comes out of olives and grapes. The reason for that is, like we said before, that it's considered a secondary product. Of the olives and grapes is considered a primary product, but olive is considered a secondary product. But the oil that comes out of olives is not fit for eating if it's not mixed in something else. One second, please. There's no bracha set on oil at all, because it's not royal la'achid, unless you mix it into something else.
You take a spoon of oil, you don't.
No, oil is a low royal la'achila. You take a spoon for oil, there is no
I know
bracha.
people every morning you take a spoon of oil.
No bracha. No bracha.
Free.
It's not food. The brachas are birchos. Brachas for pleasure. The fact that you get a health benefit, there's no bracha for that. You get a health benefit from exercise too. There's no bracha. It's not how no. Maybe it's maybe it's a pain. We do it because it's healthy, but it's not a hana. That's an interesting question. Could be once you say it, once you said it could be it covers that also. Not sure. Not sure. It says, for example, that if you say you drink just the coconut water, coconut itself is eitz, but if you're going to have both, then the eitz covers the water. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, eat the meat first, and then so take a little piece of, I don't know, not a big coconut expert. So say it's something else. Yeah. Okay. We continue and we say, Yud, all fruits, whether they are eitz or adam, that are good to eat, whether they are raw or cooked. You say bracha on them. They are raw. Okay, anything will be raw cooked. The bracha of ha'itz applies to them whether raw or cooked. אפילו אם דרך לסם הוא כשאין חיים, מפני שאין חייבים them לבשלם. משפט חסם בשלם, שבכיוון שיהיו כאילו לכלל פרי כשאין חיים אינם בשלת. When you said, when you eat something that is normally raw, you can say it on that food even if it's cooked, as long as it's not mishtana legreisa. That means by cooking it, it did not go down in its quality. Meaning to say some things are cooked when they're raw. Some things are better raw than when they're cooked. Some things are the same. So if the normal way to eat it is raw, and it gets worse when you cook it, that's called nishtana l'reyes. Um, if it's at a
Danielle, are we? Is it okay? So is everybody having issues with the connection, or?
Yes, yeah, I'm not getting any audio.
I'm not getting any audio at all.
Yeah, I can see his picture, but I can't get any audio.
Yeah. I think was there a lot more people online, or were we the only ones?
I think it's just you and me. That's all I see. This is
Yeah,
Moshe,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I think it's just us.
So I don't know what's happening.
I'm going to turn my
I
camera
think what
off.
happened,
I'm going to turn my camera off because maybe that'll make the bandwidth available for the audio at least.
That's good. We
Right.
don't really need the
Yeah,
camera.
we don't need the camera.
Yeah, try.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need the camera. Give it a try.
Okay, there we go.
you still video that?
Just the audio. Look at the call. Now, let's say you had a fruit.
Sorry now. I lost track of the class. Are we on 10?
We're middle, and I'll review quickly what we said in 10,
Okay.
which is that a fruit that is normally consumed raw is ha'etz or dama, depending on what type of fruit it is, raw or cooked. A fruit that is normally consumed raw, and you chose to cook it, if it tastes just as good when it's cooked, it's still ha'etz or dama, whatever it used to be. But if it's nishtat grace, which means if it became an inferior product through the cooking, does not taste as good, it was downgraded from ha'etz or hadama, whatever it was, to shahakal. Now he continues in the middle of 10. If he then fried or cooked them for that matter, and not better, then you say this special hadam or ha'etz. In other words, they were downgraded. They were downgraded because of the cooking, but now they're adding some sweetener. All of a sudden, become kavod. Now it's nice. Oh, then it goes back to its original bracha. It only lost it temporarily because it's not that it wasn't. It just wasn't being eaten in a good way. It was being eaten in an inferior way. Now, by a little bit, you brought it back to its superior quality, so it gets its bracha back. Certainly, if you cooked it in the first place, you did it with honey, meat, and it did better. As long as it didn't taste worse, even if it didn't taste better, as long as it didn't taste worse. Now, the fact is, you could argue and say, well, they would have tasted worse without the honey. So now maybe the honey should be the important thing. Maybe I should say shackle on it, because the bracha on honey is shackle. Maybe because they were cooked with meat, that's why they taste good. So the bracha on meat is shackle, and therefore the bracha should be shackle. No. Because the meat is being the fruit is being flavored by something else. It has the flavor of the honey. It has the flavor of the meat. But you're not eating meat. You're not eating honey. You're eating the fruit. So those flavors are tuffle, right? Nobody would say you're eating, when you eat comfort, nobody would say you're eating sugar. Even if you added sugar to the comfort, that's not what you're eating comfort. Sugar is a flavor. Now, if there's actual meat, you cooked it with the meat, and you actually eat the meat, okay, the meat itself is going to be secondary. Meat is important, right? You'll have to say shak on the meat. But when you eat the fruit, you'll say the correct bracha on the fruit. Okay. Daniel, Moshe, you're still hearing me?
Yes, Rabbi.
Excellent. Okay, we continue and we say, ya ba 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 ba, ya ba 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 ba. Yud Aleph. However, fruit, whose usual way is to eat them cooked. Because they're better when they're cooked than when they're raw. Anybody? Any such fruit you can think? Actually, in terms of vegetables, there's a lot of vegetables like that. A lot of vegetables. I mean, when he says fruit, he doesn't necessarily mean fruits of the tree. He means fruits of the tree or of the ground. So vegetables, a lot like that. Squash, beets, a lot of vegetables that are only normally eaten cooked. Potato, exactly. Why are they eaten? Because they taste better when they're cooked. Now the truth is they are also good and fit for eating when they are raw. But most people don't eat them raw. Rather, most people cook them because they're better. If a person chooses to eat them when they're raw, he says shackle. After cooking them, you say the correct bracha. Going ribbon umerin. For example, type of turnip that are called ribbon and merin. Merin, my friends, is carrots. In the days of the Alter Rebbe, eating raw carrots was not normal. People didn't eat raw carrots. They ate cooked carrots. Why? I don't know. That's just the way it was. They didn't have good teeth. I'm just kidding. I don't know why. They just didn't eat their raw carrots. The normal way is to eat cooked. You say Adam when cooked. But when they're raw, so very situational thing. This depends on the time you're in. This depends on the country you're in. Some countries, they might eat some fruits or vegetables raw. In other countries, they might not. They might only eat them cooked. So when in Rome, do as the Romans, at least in terms of brachas, in terms of what's normal. It's normal to eat it raw, and you say the appropriate bracha when it's raw. If not, not. Yud Beis, moving right along. Avalim derech, roiv b'nei Adam. Lo yochlam gam kshem chaim. Kamoy mini yirakas v'kidnias, afilu toivim muvushalim yosem echaim. V'yochlam pedam b'chaim muvushalim. A type of fruit that most people will also eat when it's raw. For example, various vegetables, various beans. Even if they're better when they're cooked, you still say ha'adama whether they're raw or cooked. For example, cauliflower and broccoli. You have to know how to check broccoli. But let's say you know how, for argument's sake. Broccoli definitely tastes better cooked. Cauliflower also. But at the, simchas, they have these cruditas, whatever they're called, the hors d'oeuvres, and they'll sometimes cut up very thin cauliflower and broccoli. And people eat it. So apparently, I don't know if most people eat it. I don't know how to gauge what most people do. But if most people eat it, then even though it doesn't taste as good, but it's considered an acceptable way to eat it, it's considered a normal way to eat it, so it's hadam. With a dip, yeah.
So what's the more important one?
Rebbe.
Vegetable. You never make bracha on the dip. I understand that, but you still make the bracha on the vegetable. The dip flavors a vegetable. vegetables as a dip. I mean, sometimes if it's not a dip, if it's like tuna fish and you pile on the tuna fish, that's something else. But if it's a regular dip, like a mayonnaise dip or whatever, main thing is a vegetable. Yes.
Rebbe,
Yeah, go ahead.
question. So I know sometimes a lot of the people they put like edible flowers for decorations in a plate.
Interesting shot.
What?
Are those the people normally eat?
I can't hear you.
Are those things that normally eat, those flowers?
I mean, they're edible. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna eat something like that, but they're like decorations, if anything. But you can eat it.
It's not, it would make a Adam on it. It has to be that normally people eat it, not just that it's edible. It has to be that it's normal for people to eat it. So here's the thing. I was going to say later that the bracha on rose petals is Hadama.
Ah,
Rose
okay.
petals is Hadama. Why? Why not eights? They grow from a bush. The bush lasts from year to year. Why not eights? I was going to say because the rose bush has an actual fruit. It's called rose hips, little red berries. That's considered the pre, as far as eating, because that's
Really?
more normal to eat. Yeah, that's more normal to eat. The petals is a secondary product. People don't plant it for the purpose of eating the petals, but it's acceptable to eat. People consider it normal to eat, so it's considered a secondary product. That's why it's edible. If it's not considered normal to eat, people don't normally eat it. Even if it's edible, then it's shahakal.
So if it's not, regularly,
if it's not edible at all, it's not edible at all, you don't say bracha. If it's edible, but most people don't actually eat it, then it's not considered a pre. A pre has to be something that's expected to be.
expected to be okay.
They say it has to be the main fruit of the tree.
So it could be a dama.
It could be adama. It's a secondary fruit. It's adama. If it's not expected to be eaten at all, then it's shahakal.
Okay.
Yes. Sugar cane is shahakal. We're going to learn about it. Be'ezrat Hashem. Okay.
The fruit that you're freezing. So that bananas freezing. The fruit. Right.
I think it's still a fruit. I mean, I don't see why it didn't change really. It's just frozen. I mean, cooking is considered a thing, halachically. Cooked it, if it changes, the grace of the cooking can change the bracha, but I never learned that about freezing. And then there's another thing, if you blend it or whatever, and it's not recognizable as something else, but freezing, it is recognizable, it's not cooked. Even if it doesn't taste as good, I mean, bananas that go a little bit brown, you know what I'm saying? Edible, they're still the same bracha. To be the same. Pieces of fruit. Actual pieces. Interesting. Interesting. An actual piece. I saw once a svara. I mean, the simple halacha, without any like iyun, without thinking about it too. Simple halacha should be you say two brachas. Fruit juice is shahal. Fruit pieces are eights. That'd be the simple halacha. But I did see, maybe in the Dear Shulchan Aruch, maybe in the Bodner's book. I have books with me, so I came straight from the airport. So I can't pick it up. But I did see somewhere that the And when you serve a fruit punch and you put pieces of fruit in it, because it looks nice, you know what I'm saying? It looks nice, whatever, crunchy, that it's considered tough. It's considered secondary. Because the main thing is the fruit. You want those things there to look nice and taste. But it's not really, nobody really wants to eat fruit. You want to have the drink, and this is secondary to the drink. I saw that I went somewhere. And it's logical, it makes sense. What they're saying, yeah. Come garnish, yeah. That's the argument. Okay. ואפילו מן הירוק השם דרך רואה בן לא שלמכם אלא עם פס ודרף וכם שם חצבם ברוך עליהם בפרדם ושם חי. Listen to this finish. Even types of vegetables that most people do not eat raw except with something else. Onions, for example. You say bracha adama when they are raw. This is similar to what you were saying. You don't eat plain cauliflower. You don't eat plain broccoli when it's raw. You dip it in something. If it's to eat raw, with that dip, it's normal. So we say adama. So the same thing, onions. You never eat them raw on their own. We bites into an onion. But when you serve it in a salad with other things, it's normal to eat raw. Now, it could be that in a salad it becomes tuffle to other things. But even if it's not, even if it happens to be a majority of onions, or you're just, let's say the salad is tomatoes and onions together with the dressing. It happens to be there's more onions than tomatoes. And you take a spoon, there's no tomatoes in the spoon. It's a normal way to eat it. So it's adama. Even though it's only normal to eat because you're eating it with some other thing, it still is adama.
Pickles and these whole onions.
I mean, pickles are adama too. So either way it's adama. But I think that's normal to eat those little onions. They're pickled. They're not so sharp. I think that's normal. Okay, at this point, I will share with you my difficulty, even though I should have figured it out by now, since this is already, I think, the third time I'm learning Seder Birchos HaNehenin with this group, or a different group. But the way I understand this is that say adama on the onion when you eat it with something else. Because that's considered a normal way to eat it. But the way I would understand without any other knowledge would be that if you eat the onion on its own, just a piece of raw onion, you would say shahak, because that's not the normal way. And that's what the Alter Rebbe says in the Shulchan Aruch. However, that is not the Minhag Chabad. The Minhag Chabad, based on the Haggadah of the Rebbe, is that we say adama on karpas, which is an onion. So it seems like
Pesach, right?
Pesach. It seems like I understand the Alter Rebbe.
Who says that stuff?
No. It's not an onion. Karpas is an onion?
No, no onion.
Onion.
Karpas is onion for
Chabad, karpas is onion.
Oh.
Kacha. So it seems that they understand the Alter Rebbe to mean, not they. I mean, it's the Rebbe who had the Haggadah. It seems that the pshat is, since it's normal to eat raw, even though it's normal to eat with other things, but it's normal to eat raw. So even if you eat it without other things, it's still dam. That's what the pshat seems to be.
So it's not. That's a lot of special. I don't think it should be used. I'm not qualified. It should be just what happens in the Seder. Be extrapolated.
No, on the contrary. On the contrary. What happens to the Seder is definitely used as a major point in Allah for other things. No question about it. Like take, for example, the whole question about self covering the Torah. So there's a whole discussion of whether you need it to cover, whether you don't need it to cover. If you need it to cover, you have the concept of a link. The whole concept of a link of something before the meal into the meal being covered by the bracha Rishona because it's covered in the bracha Achrona. It's a source in Allah. It's not a difference in Allah. It's a source in Allah.
So why you say
Okay, is different. What did we say about that? What did we say about that last week? We discussed last week. It wasn't so much about the Seder being different. It was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was about the fact that because you know you're going to do that mitzvah, so it's like you're excited for that upcoming mitzvah, so your body doesn't digest it yet. It's like a spiritual / physical explanation. It's like but it wasn't about the Seder per se. It was about the excitement for the mitzvah. But actually, the fact that we use the bracha Rishona for karpas and for more is a big discussion because there's always a whole long thing in between, and you're not eating in between. So the pshat is that because you're not eating, but it's in front of you, you want to eat it, so it's like you're still. I'm not so sure that it's particularly the same. Let's say you have another meal and the food is in front of you and you know that you want to eat it and you're going to eat it soon, so maybe it actually stops digestion from starting because your mind affects your body, tell you don't digest this, there's more coming. On the plane today, for example. So I finished eating. I didn't want to bed it because my machrim, they usually like aisle seat, but this time was one of those flights, cheap ticket where they assign you at the gate, so you're stuck with whatever you have. So I didn't want to get up or whatever, so I just waited for them to bring water. It wasn't such a long wait, but I wasn't sure about it. But I thought to myself, maybe I'll decide to eat something later. And in the end, together with the food, together they brought a snack, so I had the snack and whatever. But I'm saying I was wondering if that helps. The fact that I didn't officially finish eating, like I thought maybe I'll have more later. I even did have more. Whatever. I don't think it would have digested anyway. I'm just saying.
You know that, yes. If we think to do the man of learning, it's more strict than the other stuff, like what we said about other stuff.
No, my machronim is not more important than not missing benching. You have to miss the bench on time.
No, if I want to, if I said let's bench, and then you want to snot, you can do it. But if you say my machronim, it's more strict. I think so.
If you wash it, not if you say it.
If you wash it.
If you actually wash, not if you say it.
Yes. If you wash it, then it's okay. But to say let's bench, then something. And then we talked about if we said we start before the bracha. said,
Journalist.
זימון. אולי נברך, אז then we consider starting the ברכת המזון, right? That's what
It's not machloket.
Okay.
If you say Avostai Nevarach, is it more than saying let's bench? Is it like you actually started or not? Yeah, that's a machlokes. That's not so clear. But even saying let's bench is a machlokes, like we said. So you can.
Yeah, because let's bench everybody. It's not
It's a machlokes.
ready.
No, it's a
Everybody's
machlokes.
not ready.
It's a machlokes. If the Balabai says that, some say you have to stop right there.
Only you, because he said that. But the other people around you, they don't have to.
No, if you're Balabai and they don't protest,
If the
Balabai says and they don't protest, and they have to also. Because they presumably go together with the Balabais. He said, it's a machlokes. The Ikar Allah could continue, but it's better to stop because of the different opinions.
Recently, the people blind with the Queen of England.
Yeah.
When she stops eating, everyone has to stop. So at that point, if you're dining with somebody that's the minhag, you don't have a choice. Once they stop, they're finished.
You have to eat very
That's true.
short with the queen.
That's true.
Because she doesn't eat much.
I wonder if the Queen ever did a zimun. That would be interesting. That would be interesting to find out. Interesting question. Interesting. The onion rings you buy in the packet are shahak. Yeah, they're not shahak because it's not real. It's not a real piece of onion. It's like just flavored thing. Real onion rings. Well, it's the onion itself. When you fry it, it's a good result. You know what I'm saying? It gets better. It doesn't get worse. So that would be hadama. But the question is, if it's fried together with batter, what's the ikar? What's the ikar? It's a good question. Let me just borrow that for a second. Thank you. See if you discuss it. What do you have there? Onion rings mezainas generally made with a substantial batter coating, made from grain flour, therefore make mezainas. Yeah, mezainas. There you have. Yeah, in the back, in the handbook, like 65, page 65 in the back. Onion crackers is just crackers with onion flavor on it.
It's not.
Yeah. Our solim muvushalim, levarchem shakalim report. This is the chiddush.
Oh.
Cooked onions are shahaka. A cooked onion is considered an inferior product to a raw onion. Because people
Lost all is arif. When you cooked it, it's not arif like.
No, a cooked onion is not a food. Onion soup is a food. But a cooked onion for itself is not an important food. If it's part of something else, yes, that's what he says now. If you cook it with meat, so now it tastes better as a result of the meat. What makes it taste better is the meat or the other thing you're cooking it with. Why do you cook onions generally? Not to eat them. You cook onions to flavor something else.
And like garlic. Drop garlic.
Garlic also. Right. Right. So when you cook for something else, so they normally are tougher to that thing, even if you eat them separately, but it's still considered something that cooking makes them worse. The fact is, they taste better now, but not because of themselves, only because of something else. So therefore, they are essentially cooking them down. So that's a very interesting thought.
If you cook onions with a little bit of meat, you get the meat taste of the onions, then you would have to say bracha on the onions.
Yeah, but the bracha would be shahako. The bracha would be shahako. It's a big chiddush. It's a big chiddush. It's interesting when it comes to raw onions, even though you only eat them with other things, that's considered the normal way to eat them. So it's like, but here, even you eat them with other things, which is because that's not the normal way to eat them. It's downgraded. Even though when you do eat other things, it is, but it's not normal to eat it on its own. So it's downgraded.
Some dishes, you cook onions separate from the meat. And then they're added after they're both cooked. Then they put them together and eat the dish up.
Like what? Like what?
Right?
Like what?
Just Using briskets or different kinds of meats. They'll do that. They saute the onions.
Yeah, but they saute it, but then they add it and cook it more at the end, no?
Then they add the onions too.
Yeah, they saute the onions first, but then they do add it also in the cooking, not just in the eating. They add it in the cooking too, I think.
What about ceviche? Still raw. Not cooked, it's marinated in Germany. It's just together. I mean, if you have leftover onions.
Are those considered cooked or raw? Is that your question? If you're eating them with a ceviche, it's tefel, second. Yeah, but if you're eating them separately, maybe it's a normal. Is it considered cooked? Is your question?
Yes, it's like marinated.
Yeah, but marinated for 24 hours is halachically cooked. Halachically cooked, yeah. Not 100% sure.
Ceviche is not that for us. Not even that. I like it.
All right. We can be say Gimel. Yeah, organization. Shem Chaim Orachem Shakel. Shein Zederach Achilasam. Dry beans, my friend, are shakel. It is not normal to eat dried beans. Not normal. It's too hard. If they're still moist, like peas in pod, you know what I'm saying? They're still moist. So you say, if you eat the pods too, you can eat the pods. Peas if they're still.
I mean, how they get to.
No, when you pick them before you dry them.
Okay.
כשהם עדיין לא אכלו חיטם. That's only the guard variety, which are planted with that intention.
I'm sorry to you. שקדים when they dry, it's not change the blessing.
שנייה. Alan Azur and Basada is both they are planted in the fields. So the normal way is to dry them and eat them dried, cooked, obviously, first. When they're raw, this is a very interesting difference. The ones that were made done in gardens, people had them in their front gardens, back garden, backyard, whatever. So they were very close to the house. So you didn't necessarily dry it. You might eat it raw. That was normal. So therefore, it's hadam, as long as it's still moist and good to eat. But the ones that were in the field, they were done for mass production. So the intention was that you're going to dry it because to the mass, it's not going to happen before it's moist. So they would dry it and they would give it to the public. If you had to go to the field and get one, that's not the normal way to consume it, and it's therefore considered shackle. Like we said before, when something is normally consumed cooked, not raw, and if you eat it raw, shackle, even if it's good to eat, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not the normal way. It's shackle. But he has a big chiddush because it's the same. It's instead of the garden variety, it's a field variety. I don't know if it tastes different, looks different. I don't know exactly, but it has the same name. But it's one is cooked in the garden, one is cooked in the field. And the fact is, one in the field is not normal to eat. To eat fresh and moist, even though it tastes good. It's not normal, so it's chocolate. Yes.
Shkedim is dry. Doesn't change the last.
That's a normal way to eat it. Anything that's a normal way to eat it, right, bro?
You have to try to eat.
Whoever normally people eat it. Say it right, bro. Okay.
I think some things the food was downgraded and when you upgrade it, then thinking about the right for anything that you whatever, let's say even fruits. You add later and then you eat later.
What's that? Sounds right. So, yes.
So hydrate food that you rehydrate with those changes down.
Here's the question. Something to dry out, and they rehydrated it moist again. It was dry beans. They were dry, and they were not so good to eat. And then you soaked the water. You made them more moist. Maybe it goes back to Adam. Could be. If it's not normal to eat, it's not a normal thing to eat it raw. Could be. I don't know. I mean, nowadays, I don't know if people really eat beans raw. The mice, because we don't really get them. We only get them dry. You know what I'm saying? We live near the farms and stuff like that. So even if you do moisten them, get them to be moist, but because most people don't eat them, most people don't eat them. Like he says, the field variety. The field variety, even at the moist, say hakel, because most people don't eat them raw. I think it's that way now with beans. I'm saying it's very, very. I don't even know if I ever even see a raw bean that was moist. I don't know. Peas, yes, because you can get them in the pods.
I saw somebody eat. It was very interesting. Raw corn on a cob.
Yeah, corn on the cob is good, actually.
I have never seen it like that.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Corn on the cob is something out of the raw.
Very weird.
For dry out, it's good.
When you
In the can is something else because the can is already soaking in that. I think it's already cooked.
In a
I think
brine,
they cook them. I think they cook them. I'm sure they're cooked. Why not? Sounds good. Should it be shallow? It should be Adama. They're raw or they're cooked. Like what? What kind of vegetables, for example? So carrots are anyway hadama, raw or cooked. Potatoes are only hadama if they're cooked. And peas could be fresh peas are hadama, like he says here. Depends on the product. Depends on the product. Something like potatoes has to be considered cooked. But maybe that is considered. What do? You pour out water. So Iri Miklirishan cooks Kedei Klipa. We said that many times. Tabbas, Chalav. So maybe it's considered cooked, at least part of it. And Neil is the only one left in the class. Everybody else was scared off, I guess.
Yeah, just listening. Hello?
You did it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. 14. Ego's Gomer Haroi Lachila Chai. A complete walnut that was fit to eat raw. Shetigna b'dvash, which you cooked with honey. Even if you cooked it first, and when you cooked it, went downgraded, and it was shakal. When you fix it up by cooking it now with go back to the like we said before, the same concept. But here's the chiddush. Why is he reading it? Because he wants to say the following chiddush. Now you want to you might say, well, this nut was downgraded to shahakal. Now what's making it ha'etz again? The honey. So maybe I should say shahakal. Actually, we had this same discussion. What's making it better now? The honey. So maybe I should say shahakal on it because the honey is what's making it better. No. The honey is just a tuffle to the nut to make it taste better. You're eating a nut. Where you say, Alter brings a similar example. Let's say a regular fruit that is normally eaten cooked, or a regular vegetable is normally eaten cooked. You cook it in water, yeah? So should you say shahakal? Because water made it better and water is shahakal? No. The water is what you cook it. That's all. So the honey is what helps better. But you're not eating honey. You're eating the vegetable, the fruit, yes. Makes no difference. Why makes the difference? What's this? What date honey is shahakal? Date honey is shahakal, bee honey is shahakal. Either way, it's shahakal. It doesn't make a difference. Normally, in halacha, when it talks about honey, it's bee honey. Bee honey. I'm sorry? No. Talmud is, yeah. Stam honey is bee honey. Unless it says otherwise. When it says Eretz Zovas Chalav, land flowing with milk and honey, that's date honey. It's the chiddush. Normally honey in the Gemara, if it doesn't say that honey, is bee honey. Yeah. I wrote an article once. I remember I'll share it with you. Yeah.
And Passover, I remember my mom used to do orange juice, cut it with sugar with that, and boil it, and then it has honey with the food. Orange, you cut it to smoke.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Candied oranges, yeah.
Yeah, candy orange.
I,
Candy.
Candied orange, yeah. Geen, כל מיני pears מרוככים. All sorts of fruits that are murukachim, that are cooked. What's the English? You have English there? Manuel? Jams. Fruit jams. That's a better translation. Bein pesim and pesim are, whether it's a jam made fruit of the tree or fruit of the ground. Even if they are not fit for eating at all, without being prepared in this way, cooking on other sweet ingredients. For example, roses. It's not normal to eat petals. I mean, you could eat petals, but it's not. When you cook them, you can make a dish. The dvash is not the main, secondary. The purpose of the dvash, when you make a jam, purpose of the honey or the sugar or whatever else you're using as a sweetener is to flavor the fruit in the jam. Not to eat honey, it's to flavor the fruit.
More sugar than fruit.
Yeah.
If you look at the ingredients of a jam, first ingredient is sugar.
Yeah.
And maybe down the road you have fruit.
Even so,
80% or 30%.
even so, I mean, most jams today are not even visible. So chocolate, but the fruit jam has very even if they're not normally eaten raw, like the rose petals, but if it's normal to make them out of them, nowadays I don't see any real jams, but if it's normal to make a jam out of them, and that's the normal way to eat it, you say, because that's why they, as long as you get where it's supposed to be. I don't think it's shahakal. No, it makes a difference. It's shahakal. We spoke about at the beginning of the chapter that a byproduct of the tree that is edible but is not expected to be eaten is shahakal. Even though it's edible, but if when they plant it and expect to be eaten, because the example that I think he's going to give it later, but it's a very interesting one, is hearts of palm. What are hearts of palm? So the Gemara says the bracha on hearts of palm is shakol. Exactly. Hearts of palm shakol because it's not normal to eat hearts of palm. Because when you cut the heart of the palm dies. Nabach. So it's not normal. They don't plant a tree for you to kill it. So even if you did it not the normal way, it's edible, fine. But that's not what they planted it, so it's shahakal. They plant palm just for the heart, whole orchards, blah, 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 Tariqa, wherever it is, those are hadama. Because that is why they planted it. You ask why they're not heights. Exactly.
It's dead.
No, it's not that.
No,
It's not fruit. It's not the fruit, not the pre of the dates. It's the dates itself. It's pre-shal eitz. Ata ochel eitz. Like you're eating the tree. The tree is a fruit of the ground. The fruit is a fruit of the tree, but the is an edible tree is a fruit of the ground.
What was the case again where the hearts of palm is Brei Pri Adamah?
Parts of buying the store, or if you have palm in your backyard and you cut it, you eat it, that's shahakal, because that's not what you planted the palm. But the palms, the hearts of palm that you buy in the supermarket, ends or whatever, they come from fields that were especially planted for those hearts. So that's considered the normal way to consume it, expected way in which to consume it. So the way that was expected for it to be consumed when they planted it, to say, and therefore that's Adam.
So if you eat an extra,
Yeah,
raw extra.
it's not normal. But if you make jam out of it, that's a normal way. Same with pieces. Okay. Oh, this is what I was saying before. It's just like a fruit that is normally cooked, that you say ha'etz or ha'adama, because that's the way it was expected to be eaten. You don't say shahakal because the water was cooked in. So the same thing, the honey is no different than the water. Excuse me, Birchos rod and Brei Pri Adamah, is what I was saying before. The bracha on the rose petals is not going to be a eitz because they're not the main fruit of the rose bush. There is a different item, a different berry, which is the main one. It's called rose hips. The petals are considered the secondary product that's expected to be eaten. It wouldn't be expected to be eaten, it would say shahakal. Be the main product, it's a eitz. Here it's a secondary product expected to be eaten, like leaves and the brachas hadam. We continue and we say, Tezvav. Havel, Tagen Eglis, Boide, Rach Umar. This is something we mentioned earlier in the parak. If you make a nut get ripe and it is bitter, you cook it, you make it. Maybe you cook it with honey. This is how you cook it. With honey, with that, whatever it is, you cook it, you make it sweet. That's not going to taste. That's why? Because not eating it in a normal way. Normal way to wait till it gets, and then you don't have to do anything artificial to make it edible. It is edible. So you're taking this not, you're making it edible artificially. That's not the expected way. That's shahakal. Now, if it's a thing that stays bitter unless you cook it, then you cook it, and that's a normal way to eat. That would be all right. But this is not so. Over here, the normal way is for it to get ripe. And you are early, so it's not ripe. You're making it officially edible, but that's not the normal way to consume it. So it's shahakal. Yeah. No, if it's edible, even though it's not ripe, but it's edible as is, then it's the regular bracha, or whatever it is. If you pick a fruit early, yeah, but it's already edible, white, whatever it's supposed to be. Here we're talking about it's so bitter it's not edible. But you cook it and you try it and you add honey, you make it edible. So that's not, it's not a pre-yet. Not a pre-yet. You artificially made it edible. So that's shahakal. Oh, there the normal way to cook it. That's how you eat, by cooking it. So that's adam. Over here, the normal way is not to cook it. The normal way is to let it ripen and then to eat it. So that's why it's shahakal here. But a thing that's normally cooked, it's the same as a squash. It's raw, it's not edible. You cook it, it's edible. You make adam. Same thing with the plantain. Our clips are pretty metal. However, the peels which you cook or fry candy, whatever, flip-ons fit, like orange peels we discussed last time. Because it is to eat the peel after the fruit is ready. Candied orange peels is a normal thing. However, like we said before, it's not the main reason to plant it. It's considered a secondary product, not the main product. It's expected to be eaten. So it's hadama, not shahakal, but it's not the main product, so it's hadama, not ha'itz. Although if you remember earlier, we said some say it is ha'itz because they consider it part of the tree, part of the fruit itself. And just like the fruit itself, the peel, when you cook it, is edible, is also ha'itz. That was what some say. Others say no, this byproduct is not the fruit itself, and it's over at the more hate. But if you already set hates on the candidate, okay, it's very short, but there's a lot to talk about in Tezayin, my friends. Tezayin says, Zucker. Alpha Pisha Nasi Mikonoma Mesukim, Vorchem, of Shakal. Sugar, even though it's made out of sugar cane, which what does it mean even though? Even made of sweet reeds, which the ground obviously, so you would think Dama, no, Shakal. Yeah. And that cane syrup, sugar in the sound. Cane syrup. Just the way of saying sugar. Anyway, so yeah, there is a three-way machlokas about this simple halach the Alter Rebbe says. Remember, the Alter Rebbe is writing a kitzur. The Seder Birchos HaNehenin is a kitzur. It does not include all the opinions. Alter Rebbe tells you what to do in actual fact. However, the Shulchan Aruch brings opinions, and the Mishnah Berurah brings three opinions. The opinions in the Mishnah Berurah are: Rosh says that is hot. He said is a thing that grows from year to year. You don't have to reply to it. There's a normal way to consume the sugar cane. You don't eat the sugar cane. I mean, sometimes the natives will just cut off a piece of the cane and chew on it. That's fine. That's not the normal way to consume a sugar cane. The normal way to consume a sugar cane is to cook it and evaporate the juice, eat the sugar. So that is the product of this tree. The tree of this tree is just, it's a bit number one. Then you have the Talmud Rabbi who say, yeah, it's the normal way, but it's not a tree. It's like the wood itself. The wood itself is sweet. You're taking out the flavor of that wood into the juice, which you're evaporating, making into sugar. But it's not the pre of the eitz. It's the eitz itself, just like we said by the hard palm. It's the eitz itself. So you're eating the juice of the tree itself, which is pre Adam. It's growing from the ground. Adam. That's something to do. And then finally, we have the Rambam. The Rambam says no, shahakol. It's not less than the juice. So It's a tree. You're not eating the tree. You're not eating from the tree. You're eating the juice or the evaporated crystals of the juice. The juice of a fruit tree is shahakal.
That would be the same with maple syrup.
Yeah, exactly. Maple syrup comes from a tree. That's the juice. Correct. So now the Mishnah Berurah says all of this is good and fine when you talk about sugar cane. But what about sugar beets? Sugar beets are not a tree. Sugar beets are beets, the actual beets. You can make sugar from sugar cane. You can make them from a very sweet variety of beets with sugar beets. And most sugar, Mishnah Berurah says, he was talking about, in early 20th century in Europe, but maybe it's still today, I have no idea. He says most sugar today is made out of sugar beets, not sugar cane. So what's the correct on sugar made of sugar beet? Mishnah Berurah says, still a machlekes. Still a machlekes. Because according to the Rosh, the bracha on sugar, on the fruit, this is a very important machlekes. We're going to learn more about the next part. Maybe we'll even get to it tomorrow night. A fruit, the normal way to consume it is by consuming the juice. Let's say Florida oranges, right? Tropicana, not from Florida. It used to say mostly Florida. I guess somebody sued them. Contains orange juice from Brazil. Okay, so the orange they make this orange juice out of is planted for juice, not planted for eating. That is the way to consume the fruit. That's the normal way to consume the fruit. So according to the Rosh, sugar is the way to consume the sugar beet. Nobody eats a sugar beet. They don't sell them in the stores. Sugar beets are sugar. So the normal product is the sugar and the correct product. The Rambam says no. The Rambam says even though they planted with the intention of making juice out of it, but it's not the pre anymore. Once you squeeze it, it's not the pre. Okay, that's why they planted it. But not the pre, it's changed. You can't call it the pre anymore. It's something different. So it's shahakal. Same thing, the sugar has changed so much that nothing like the pre. It's shahakal. The maisa, it's whatever you say. Good. And this brings me to an interesting thing that Rav Deitch made. And that is, in some poskim it says, not sure what to do about this, you're in a situation and you may have to make a shahakal. You don't know if you need to make a shahakal, not no problem. Take a little drop of sugar, say shahakal, and have in mind, whatever. Rav Deitch said, no, don't take sugar. Because you try to get out of a doubt and something else that has a doubt. What's the point of that? He said the same thing about you're looking for a bracha. You want to say a bracha on rice, right? So you look for a mezainis. Don't pick a banana for your adama. The banana could be a eitz. You want to have a doubt. Don't go with another. You just but if you want to go out, then don't bring yourself into another. It's just an interesting thing. Okay. It's knowing the It's not a radish. The bracha is hadama, even though it's going to get hard. If you leave the radish for too long, it gets hard and inedible. But right now, it's edible. So it's hadama. No, I think he means in the ground. I think he means in the ground, but still, I mean, so because it's going to be bad later. Right now, it's good. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's a funny Kiddush. But it's the same in the Shulchan Aruch. He says, almost the same in the Shulchan Aruch. So obviously there is a Kiddush. Continue. Yeah, Abbas. Help to change the Kiddush work with 8 given שברוך להם בוי פרדם וליקר את יסמו שיסיימשו ויאכלו רובה שחו כמבלן וינחלו מפני עצמם אלא מיעוטם לפעמים סלוח סלוח בידר אבל חתחילו הרבה פרדם עד לצוס לדברי הכל. Okay, we're talking about peppers that are normally used to make ground pepper or peppercorns, whatever it is. Basically the pepper spice. And you are eating them raw. Raw. Yeah, the macho teenagers. Well, if you're making them with the spice, no, peppercorns are made.
We make paprika home for queso.
Ah.
We just give the peppers, put them all, and the wings. That's how spices.
Interesting. Yeah, I hear you. Well, he's talking about a type that is not normally raw. You getting that right? בדם אוהל ועיקר נטייסם על דש יסתיו שיכולו בשלוטים כתמלה. יכולי עצמן אלו מיעוטם לפעמים. It's an interesting thing because it seems that they're considered real achil. He doesn't have an option to say shahak. You know what I'm saying? If it's not a normal way to eat it, you wouldn't say hadama either. You would say shahak. The fact is, it's only a doubt if it's hadama or eitz. That means you're not sure if it's a main way to consume it or a secondary way to consume it. But it's not considered an abnormal way to consume it. So it's either hadama or eitz. No, I told you that. I shouldn't have. Okay. Let's do more. Yavation, the Zangvil, Shetkoyan Ingbar, but dried peppers and dried ginger, and similarly cloves, that are not normally eaten dry, but rather only when they are making something else. In Raglim, you don't make any bracha when you eat them on their own. If you eat ginger or cloves or dried peppercorns, dried pepper, that's not normal. When he eats those things, it's normal to use them as a spice. To actually eat a dried peppercorn, that's not normal. You don't make any bracha. Whenever you eat something that's not considered edible, you don't make any bracha. Whereas the actual cinnamon tree, the cinnamon bark, some people do eat it. Some people eat it. It's not crazy. Just like some people eat the sugar cane, right? In native countries, the natives actually eat it. It's considered normal. when you say Adamik Yugal Arts Kamakanim, it's similar to the sugar cane. It grows on the ground like wheat. Again, it's not our eights because you're eating the actual tree, not eating the fruit, but it is. I think you're getting a problem on that. Is it dried or is it fresh?
Fresh.
Actually, he says fresh is Alpha 21. Fresh is Adam. Oh, you don't swallow.
No, don't swallow.
No, that's shahakal. Not a shahakal, yeah.
You lost the audio. Hello?
Yeah, I think so. It's practically the end of the class already anyway, the end of this year.
You say
Huh?
he has another class?
No, I think no. Well, he does?
No. I thought that they're going to daven Mara, but it looks like he's still transmitting.
No, he probably doesn't know. He probably has sometimes he has like 2 more minutes or 1 more minute of what the Rebbe is saying, the Rebbe is saying. Then I don't know.
I don't know if he went on to 20 or not.
Oh, because he's gonna do extra, you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what I thought. We just completed 19, but I don't know if he was continuing.
Let me text him. Let me see if I can text him.
Okay.
Oh, it says you're already on a call. Doesn't let me go to WhatsApp. Oh no, there you go. I got it. Still on. Oh, connection.
Looks like he went off.
He went off?
I think so, yeah. Looks like he signed off.